Daniel, I'm Dr. Lee or Dr. Alex, whichever one you prefer. I hear that you're going to be playing the Sonatina by Clementi, the first movement, right?
Yes.
Great. Okay, there's just a little bit of a delay, but I'm sure it'll all come through. So I have my music ready. Go. Whenever you're ready, Daniel, go ahead and start.
Should I rename myself to Daniel Tiger or is this okay?
I almost called you by your parents' name, Mike and Carolyn, but I'm going to remember that you're Daniel. We're all good. We're all good. Awesome, Daniel. Yay. I really enjoyed your performance, Daniel. It must be really strange just playing just for me through a screen. But yeah, that was really wonderful. You know what I particularly enjoyed was your attention to all the staccatos that are written there and all the slurs. I'm sure that in your music, there's a lot of I'm sure your teacher had really pointed those things out. It looks like you really have been practicing your scales too, the way that you're playing those. And I also just really like your musicality. I don't know if you just watched my little talk about the magic of musicality, but we talked about articulation, which is, have you ever heard of that word, articulation?
I think I've heard it before, but but I do not know what it means.
Yeah, it's a really big, long word, and you're doing articulation. That's like long and short notes. So that's what I really wanted to compliment you on, is how you play the staccatos, and how you're really paying attention to those kinds of things. And so I know that you have it memorized, which is awesome. Daniel, how long have you been working on this piece?
I think 2 months.
2 months, cool. Yeah, so you've only had it for a relatively short period of time. That's awesome. Daniel, could you grab your music for me so we can go through the music together? And I also, thanks, Mom. I also have it online as well, so I can share with you what I was looking at. So here we go. Here we are. So here's my version of it. Uh-huh. You know, what is the tempo marking here? What does it say? What's the tempo marking? Where do we find that?
The tempo marking, do you mean the time signature?
It's really close to the time signature, really close. So here's the time signature.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's really close, but it's not the same thing as the time signature. It's the tempo. So it's this awesome word right here.
Oh,
Have you ever
spiritoso. Yes.
spiritoso? It's in your score too, right? Do you have a good, well, do you know what it means? Because it has been sitting on your score for at least a month and a half. What does it mean?
I think Sherry said with spirit.
Awesome.
Which makes sense
Exactly.
with the word.
It's those crazy Italian words. Yeah, it means with spirit. Yes. Oh, and it's Miss Sherry. Yeah, amazing teacher. You have a wonderful teacher. No wonder you were playing. See, I'm not biased. You literally were playing really well. So with spirit, that sounds like it's very opposite of something like gloomy and sad, right? Spirited means very upbeat and cheerful. I think you might be ready, Daniel. Try this again. Try from the opening. I like that you're doing the forte, so you're doing your dynamics. Could you maybe play it? Well, let's see. If we want it more spirited, do you think I'm going to ask you to play slower or faster?
Maybe faster.
Maybe faster? Okay, let's try that. Let's try it a little bit faster. Which doesn't mean rush. I know that you're not rushing at all. And that's the other thing that you were really good at, was keeping a very steady beat, very steady tempo. But let's make the tempo go a little faster, okay? So let's see what that might sound like in your head. Just a little bit. Awesome, Daniel. I'm going to stop you right there. How did that feel for you? It felt good. Did you feel like you could keep up with that? It wasn't too fast, right?
No, not too fast.
So what I heard on my side, Daniel, is that it actually had a wonderful movement to it, meaning, you're giving us a tour guide of this Clementi Sonatina. It's like, you're like Daniel, the tour guide. You're like, hello, welcome to my spirited tour guide of the Sonatina Opus 36, number 3. And what happened was you actually let the tour move along. You didn't get stuck. What happens is just I like that you didn't speed it up too much. It was just enough to where you could really feel it in 4, but it rolled along. And what ends up happening, Daniel, is I noticed that you did a wonderful job in your performance too of phrasing, meaning shaping that da 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 bum bum bum. And you know, when you move it just a little bit more, it really helps. Daniel, I'm going to ask you, where do you think, if we have this as the beginning of our musical sentence, okay, so we have, let's think of that like a welcome on board to Daniel's tour guide. Where do you think there's an actual stop? Like, where do you think you would actually have the finish of your sentence? You know, if we're reading maybe reading this like a book, maybe. Where do you think it?
Maybe after in the right hand when it goes F G G G G.
Oh, that's a really, really, really good educated, I think, guess. Because why do you say there F sharp G G G G? Do you think that's like a full? Go ahead.
Well, I think well. So,
does something happen after that?
Sherry in my music put a diminuendo there, and I like think of it as maybe like the first section, maybe. I don't know how to phrase it because but I think
Daniel,
that's like ending something with the diminuendo, and then there's like a rest in the right hand. So that's like a pause, and then we're getting ready for the next thing, I guess.
Yes. So Daniel, what I like your musical intuition. So I like that you said, all right, when you add a diminuendo right here, what ends up, oops, let me get rid of that. Go away. When you add a diminuendo right here, what ends up happening is you are somewhat, you're shaping the line. It's as if you're saying, once upon a time in a faraway land, there lived a troll, or a happy troll. Okay, this could be like the end of your sentence, but try it thinking of it as a comma, because you know what? Something we don't want to actually stop until, we don't want to do a hard stop until we go through this really cool part as well. So can you just shape it like, keep going, the line is not done yet. Do you think it's done right there because there's one of these? Do you think it's done?
No, because
no.
It repeats that again in like an echo.
Okay. Yep. Okay, let's see where it stops.
And then at the end of the first theme, then that would be like the end of the.
I love that you actually knew the word theme. Yes, this is where it ends. That is awesome. Okay. So that's why we don't want to take too long in dwelling, take too long in the tempo. You're able to get through your whole first sentence. Daniel, from here to here is your first sentence. Could you imagine that it was that long? Okay, here's the other part. Daniel, you're ending your theme like as if it was the end of your whole story. Because do you know why I think you felt that way? This is what you did. ready to clap. I was like, if someone doesn't know this piece, they're gonna be like, bravo. And then we're like, wait, that was just our first sentence. So maybe, Daniel, try not to take too much time there. You definitely want to have a feeling of the closure of the theme. You want to make it sound like, hey, that's strong, it's powerful. Oops, sorry. Oh, and what happens next? Okay, this is definitely a different sentence, right? Right here. Do you know what this, can you actually play from here? So after the first sentence, let's hear that part. And let's just hear it. I'm going to stop you, but go ahead and play a little bit of it. Yeah. Oh, that's fine. Good. Okay. I'm going to you're actually doing a wonderful job in changing the character from the first theme. You're getting a little bit stuck. Can you make sure that you actually have a little bit more of a shape to where you're going towards that? And oh, you know what's really interesting is you actually did it quite beautifully, but you know what ended up happening, Daniel? You went thunk on that note. You did the staccato, but it was a little bit, it was funny. It was like, I think that the line is not done yet. Like you have to actually reach for that top. So we're talking about really musical things, and I think you can actually do it. So yeah, don't go thunk. Don't actually go down on your, don't hit it too hard, even though it's a staccato. Can you start again right here? So da 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 dum. Good, Daniel. Now try it one more time. And that was you did it perfectly with not going thump on your staccato. I would like, if you can actually start from your G major scale. What dynamic do we have there? What is in your score? Maybe you should have the same as mine, but what does that say?
With the G major scale, there's a crescendo, and then wait, there's 2 G major scales.
Okay, so I think the one with the crescendo, it goes all the way up to do you have an F? You have a forte, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I would love for you to exaggerate that a little bit more. You might actually hear in your head that it's forte enough. I would like you to really reach for that. Be like dum bum ba da 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 bum, and keep up the forte all the way. I mean, you can have little shapes within the forte, but and then the piano would be so much more effective. And then back to piano. Daniel, watch out for your intervals of a sixth. like you're going along and then suddenly you get a kind of a bump in the road because of that. It still has staccatos, okay? So just watch out for the staccatos right here. So they're still light. And I believe if you have a crescendo, Daniel, go to forte. So I think the general, two things, give me more dynamics and keep the tempo up. So let's take a look at that. Can you play from, maybe from the first G major scale? And then really show me that you're gonna bring out that forte. Good, Daniel. You know, one of the trickiest parts of piano playing is that the lower, okay, so the lower that you get on a piano, it probably tends to get what? As you go lower on the piano, does it get louder or softer, do you think?
I think maybe softer. That's what happens
Oh,
with
so
the recorder, I know. Because I
oh,
use my recorder.
that's actually, you know, on a recorder, you're right. As it gets lower, it gets softer. Well, try that out. Actually, just if you're playing with the same weight on the top of the keyboard, you know, versus the bottom, which one just sounds louder? Which side sounds louder?
I actually would say the bottom one.
Yes. Yep. So, all right. This creates a problem for pianists like you and me. You know what happens? Your left hand always tends to be louder than your right hand. So it's like, oh gosh, you know, where's the melody though in this music? Where's the melody? It's in the right hand, right? So we have just the plain physics going against us because on a piano the strings are longer. So it's going to be louder as well. So guess what? We want to make sure that we play all these things. Daniel, if you let your left hand do what it wants to do, it's going to be loud. It's just going to automatically be louder. I don't think that's very interesting. Right? It's like, shh, shh, shh. You know, you gotta shush the left hand, right? So can you try from here? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna stay really close to the keys. You can use, you know, your relaxed wrist. You're doing a really good job, but be even lighter in your left hand, okay? Because you have to try extra hard because on the piano, the bass is just lower. All right, can you try, let's just end with, go ahead and try that from that part. Yeah, that's already a little better. Can you just try your left hand? Oh, it's super hard. So we're just gonna keep it really close to the keys. Yes, yes, I knew you could do it. Good. So you're gonna feel like your left hand is playing with 15%, 10% of the weight. I mean, that's not a lot. And well, maybe we can balance it more. Maybe 25% of your weight on your left hand. And then you want to feel like the 75% of your weight is on the right side. I mean, you don't actually have to tilt, but but you really want to feel like you're calibrating. That means adjusting your weight. Otherwise, your poor left hand is going to really overpower it. Okay, so let's finish up. You can apply the same kinds of things to the second part of the piece. So why don't we just end it one more time? Let's start from your G major scale. And left hand, 25%. Very little. Yep. Oh, and then piano, right there. Daniel, shh, like, shh. It's piano. Yeah. Good. Oh, Daniel, I really like how you know where the slurs are and everything. One final thing is the crescendo in the end. Start soft. So if you just hear, it's like, oh, we're getting to G major, you know, so we really want to feel like we're growing. And Daniel, when you finish out the last 3 measures for me, it reminds me of like a little gnome or something. It's like a little fairy or a gnome. It's just so impish. It's like scurrying around. I really like your spiritoso. So one more time from here. Good. There's only one thing that would be so easy for you to fix. So this is my score right here. So every time you crescendo, this is the soft, well, actually right here is the softest. Here, I need to give, annotate, give me a second. There we go. Okay. So this is the softest, a little more, a little more. And you got to commit, Daniel. You have to commit. These last 2 need to be the loudest, okay? So you can't drop the D's. So the D's, bup, 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 bum, bum, bum. And then it'll be wrapped up and perfect, okay? So go ahead and play that one more time. One more time. And so you want to terrace and layer your D's, all right? Go ahead. Yep. Yeah. Did that feel a little bit weird at first? You did it. Here, try it one more time. It'll feel better and better every time. This is what practicing does. Yeah, that's what I call an ending. Good job. So I think the things to really work on with this piece is just making sure you commit to your dynamics. So it's like remembering exactly, you know, where your dynamics are. And you know what I also like, Daniel, is that you follow the dynamics immediately. It's what we call, another Italian word, subito piano. Have you ever heard that word before, subito?
No.
Yeah, it's spelled subito. And what that means, it means suddenly. So that's sudden, right? It's like suddenly soft. And then where's another subito? Oh, yeah. Actually, I didn't even play that well right then. Whoa, that is the hardest subito one of all because you have to do it so quickly. So it's right here. Okay, so even though it doesn't actually have the word subito in it, do you see how the forte keeps going from here all the way? And you got to keep it going, and then you have to like pull the rug out under and be like, okay, you have to be super soft. So that is what makes this, that's all you need to do to make this even more exciting and spiritoso. You know, you're doing a wonderful job already, Daniel. And the fact that you've had this for less than 2 months, like, great job on it. Yeah, it's very lively. So yeah, you're gonna work on your dynamics, and then making sure. What's the other thing? Making sure your left arm and your left hand is what? Louder or softer?
A little softer.
Yeah. Yep. So always in the back of your head, you have to be like, okay, left hand, behave. Okay. Otherwise, it's gonna be like, no one wants to hear that, right? So yeah. Good job, Daniel.
Good job,